أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Uh, just in brief, uh, we wanted to touch on over a few things. Now, we have scheduled, I guess it'll be this Sunday coming up, the program related to Brother Tufel Strategic Command Center. Brother Tufel Strategic Command Center. Do you know, like sometimes they have a presidential library, they have certain other institutions at this university, that university named after a specific person. Well, not that we follow on everybody else, but we have to begin to explain and tell the story of our history, of our own culture. And if you notice, the Islamic, I put it this way, either the leaders here in America don't understand what's going on amongst the Muslims, or they're too afraid to talk about it. We'll watch later on the program that we did a day or so ago about the election. And we didn't have time to really go into the election and what we thought about it, but we mentioned a few things. And then the responders, the other brothers, got to talking about voting and this and that. And I didn't say y'all are crazy. I didn't say none of that. Because, see, everybody have a right to do what they have to do. But I also mentioned to them that, we had our, when we attended all these black nationalists, black liberation, they wasn't black, Black Lives Matter move, stuff. Okay, when we looked at it, we said, this stuff here is a farce, it's theater. And that was our opinion, that it was total theatrics. Yeah, and that's what it looked like, and when we got to dealing in the last few days, they acted it out. So much so that when we was out there and we told them, yeah, this is theater, now go and do what you're gonna do. And the big old white boy is talking about, yeah, here I am. I said, see, I told you. Then when the other Negro threw a bottle into the police to give them the reason to come and grab him, I said, see, that's theater. They stopped. They stopped because it's embarrassing to have a narrator tell them, now look, that's what they're doing. And the people are listening to us saying on the video, this is exactly what they're doing. And that is what they was doing. So I told them yesterday on that, day before yesterday, I told them the elections in America, that since 2000 that we recognize, they can put anybody they want into that. They always could, but it's somebody within their framework, you know what I mean, that they didn't groom for the job, one, this guy or the other. So they've always been in charge of it. But they got it down pat now that they can put anybody they want into. So whoever is gonna win this election is the one that they want to win. Now, we also said that it's gonna be plenty of drama. They want you to vote. That's the whole thing. If y'all notice over the last period, they didn't have anything to drive you to voting. You got to go vote. all right? And then they build up all the information about Biden is supposed to win and he's going to take them out this way. So that means the other people got to come out and vote too to make sure that they man, old Don win. And then when they see them making their move, then the Democrats have to come out. And as they said, this election was the most voted in election that they've ever had. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted people to vote in the election so they will feel like they participated in democracy. That's the whole thing. That these people, and then when they tell their grandchildren, yes, it was a cliffhanger, it was a nail biter, but Biden won. If you notice how they stretch it out, they got it stretched out so that it ain't gonna be over just like that. Way up into there, they'll have an idea, pretty good. They have a pretty good idea, but they keep manipulating the stuff so that Arizona goes a little bit this way, but it's not. They call Arizona, and then they don't call it. They call it back like they did Florida in 2000. So they laying it out to keep everybody on the edge of their seat, just like a good drama should. Right? A good drama movie should have you on. You should be, man, what's going to happen next? Right? You're interested in it. What's the sense of arranging all of this drama if nobody's paying attention? So everybody's paying attention. So they're stretching it out. You know what I mean? And also they're measuring the volatility of the people. So it's not all over yet until they figure out, well, the way everything is acting, we're going to have Trump win. And they thinking about that, and you're seeing how the people act. Then they say, well, we chose Biden to win, so we're going to have him win. We're going to keep everything stable and da-da-da-da-da, so we're going to have him win. So they're looking at it up to now. So you might think, how can these people just do these type of things, control the environment? Well, you remember World Trade Center? I'm talking about World Trade Center 1 in 93. Then World Trade Center 2 in 2001. So the more, and the Pentagon and all of that, if you can say that a jet ran into the Pentagon and there's no big wheels all around, right? It's okay. If you can run that game on them, if you could tell them that 15 Saudis, right, they didn't say it that much then, got on a plane and they did a martyrdom mission, and they was out partying and drinking and having lap dances the day before, then we know that was no Muslims did that. But white folks don't know. They think, shoot, if I was going to kill myself, I would go and have sex and get drunk and shoot some dope. I would do all that. That's what they would do. But a Muslim wouldn't. It'd be cleansing themselves, purifying, working on their psychology, their spirituality, coming closer to Allah. That's what a Muslim would do. But they're not Muslims. They're not trying to sell me and you. They're selling everybody else. And they sold them on it. Now imagine if one building can fall, I don't know whether it was building 7 or what have you, in World Trade Center, can fall without nothing hitting it, without nothing going on, right? And they go for it. That means that we can sell these people anything they want. So it increases them and makes them stretch out. So now these things that they're doing now, they are doing it because, why? Because people is going for it. We can sell them anything we want to do. Yeah, we can sell them anything that we want to sell them. Why? Because they don't respond properly to anything. You see what I mean? Yeah. They don't respond properly to anything. Therefore, we can sell them on anything we want. So now, this election, the first election, you could see Don, the way he won was unbelievable. But not only that, Don said I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Y'all remember that? And would nothing happen. Who could guarantee him something like that? Only the Israelis. Only the Israelis could guarantee him if you shoot somebody, right, then I'm going to put you in the Sing Sing somewhere, right, in the United States. But the Israelis have enough power with the media and the power with everything that they can make everything all right. So anyway, that's exactly what is going on here in the United States. Now, the Muslims don't understand that. Even we told them then, we say, hey, so sorry. Since they don't know what's happening, they cannot understand, nor can they teach other people what's going on here in America. They shouldn't be in a leadership position because they should know their environment. And they should be able to instruct the people that they're leading and teach them and train them about how to move in these minefields called America, right? How to avoid the traps here, how to do this. What is a delayed trap? What do traps look like? What do planted bombs look like? What are the signals, right? If you see a little thing sticking up, you know that's a landmine. So don't step on it, right? What are the landmines here in America? What are the traps? How do you navigate yourself here in America? They don't know that. But they're not going to tell nobody that. Why? Because they got big congregations, and it's like almost like the blind leading the blind. And they blind and they don't want to see because they didn't come here to see. You got to remember, the only ones that want to transform America is me and you. They want America to be like it was when they got here. They can go to work. They can sell their merchandise. They could drive a cab 12, 14 hours a day. They could make their money, and that's it. Send money back home. That's what they want to do, right? That's what they want to do. That's what they came here for, right? But we accepted Islam to influence America, to change ourselves, and we know if we can change ourselves, we can influence the direction of change in America. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about in passing was the janazah that we had the other day. We want to thank the brothers for participating and helping arrange that and everything. And Brother Ayub had mentioned that, hey, maybe it's a nice crowd. Maybe we can make an announcement about financial, the needs that we have, which are true. But the reason we didn't do it, I told Brother Ayub later, I said, I'm going out the door. Of course, people was leaving. I said, if you want to announce it, you can announce it. But I'm not going to announce it. Here's why. Some things are more valuable than a small amount of money. Example, when we had the janaza, at first one brother came up and he couldn't hardly talk. Then we said, I asked a lady, was any the niece, did anybody else want to talk? She said no, but all each time, everybody kept coming up and coming up. And if you notice, they was parroting, they didn't expect this. Whatever the brother was into, they didn't expect this, because the lady said, we didn't know that y'all was going to do this for the brother. Okay, here's what she meant. Whatever is going on with you Muslims, we didn't expect y'all to have a send-off like that for him. Maybe they knew what his level of Islam was. You know what I mean? Because everybody know when you practice in Islam and when you're not. But they were taken. Remember, for us, the biggest dawah is janazas and weddings for us, because other family members come. At this, 80, 90% of the people, 80% at least, were non-Muslims. So they were observing the process. They see it's simple. They see whatever it was, it's taken care of, and they didn't have to, from where they coming from, this is different than people that use funerals. They got to haggle about this and haggle about that, and is it enough money? Is that burial insurance? Who's going to get this? Who's going to get that? That's what people are hassling about. Yeah, but it's serious. So when the people came here, everybody was appreciative of the environment. The reason we didn't mention it, because we didn't want to spoil the environment and give that churchy look that, oh, dear believers, the Lord is looking down on you, and you know, and if you give a little here and give a little there. No, they were saying, y'all did this for the brother. That's the biggest dawah. When the lady said that, there was no way I was going to mention anything, because that point. The other points is, they kept mentioning, we set the tone, transition, transformation, and everything, and love. Now you think about them talking. Everything was about love, transformation, because they was kind of empty, and we had to fill them up to give them a feeling. So we had to give them the vocabulary. Yeah, so all that they talked about was love. The brother, every time he said, I love you, whether he did or not, that's his business. But I'm saying is, that's what they began to remember. See, sometimes when the people, they may not know this is a strange environment for them, so we have to help them along, you know. And when they come along and they move right along, that means that we're having an influence. And in that, we had, that was the bigger population of non-Muslims, right, than we've had in a long time. So we was having influence, a big influence. That's more important. So you didn't finally make no announcements about funds, did you?
I was listening.
Right.
The only reason I didn't was because everybody was leaving.
Right.
That's why I didn't, but you hit it on the head.
Right.
Because one of the things I talked about was the brother kind of paid for everything and arranged for everything.
Right.
You know, the Christians, it's a money thing to them.
Right.
And he was like, so he didn't get that impression from the Muslims.
Right. Right.
His relationship with his brother.
Right. Right.
Then just because I went to
Right.
And so it was, you hit everything you said.
No, alhamdulillah.
So, that's why I didn't. One, because everybody was leaving, but I thought about what he had said. If I had done it at that time,
Right.
it would have seemed like, oh man, they just trying to get some money.
Right. But it would have, you're right. It would have spoiled the environment a little bit. That's why I was dead set on, no, I ain't gonna say it. I ain't got the nerve to say it. And I mentioned it when I was leaving. Everybody was almost gone anyway. So, but that was the purpose, because that's our dawah. And also at janazas, many times we've collected money, but it's to give to Abdul Mateen for, well, we don't have enough to, you ain't got enough? Okay. All right, everybody, let's get together on this. And we take what we have right then and we give it to him. You see, everybody knows where we're coming from. And everybody know it ain't no, whatever they do, because people be thinking that, well, we want to have a janazah, how much it costs, and how much does it cost? I said, what do you mean how much it costs? Absolutely nothing. It just, there's a box over there, if you want to help, that's fine, but it would be, imagine going to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say, we want you to pray over so-and-so. What's your fee? Or going to Umar, Abu Bakr, or Ali, radiallahu anhu, and saying, yeah, we could, you're right at the grave and they doing the takbirs and all the things, and then before that you ask them, what's your fee? Because churches have a fee. The preacher officiating have a actual a fee. Okay, no, we don't charge nothing for janazas, for weddings. We don't charge nothing for nothing. But don't worry about it. Like right now, we have money needs right now. Like I say, look, boss man just sent me something in the mail. This is $1,200. And they found me, sent me something, say, you're a senior citizen, you could get, I said, boss man sending me something in the mail. So I just filled it out and I got on the internet. I had the kids get on the internet and and boss man sent $1,200. Somebody else, we don't have to, we've been doing this too long to worry about finances. Now, as a financial manager, I already know the capabilities. We couldn't do all of this unless I was good at money management. We couldn't do it. It's just not possible. I mean, with all the hits we take, you know what I mean? With all the things that happen, you ain't nowhere in the world. So we know that Allah is in charge of all of this. So we would be ungrateful if we were sitting around, man, we need a little bit of money. Where's the money going to come from? And it's right at the time when we can't go out and do our regular hustling and stuff we do. We can't do our regular piracy or nothing like that. That's piracy. How can you pirate pirates? People as pirates, you can't pirate a pirate. But anyway, the point is that whatever's going on, like things are beginning to shape up a little bit, and you could tell when stuff is directed our way. This is what I believe. So anyway, it's no problem, because the neighborhood goes by, like people at Brother Tufel's janazah. The brother out there that used to he used to do silver work and make rings out there. He had a shop by Glut. He was showing me something on the internet. They had a church or a mosque. They had people together Oh, they took pictures of people in a masjid that was all together, that was breaking the law. So, and then they fined them $15,000. You know, I don't care. Yeah, well, but because they got the things about you ain't supposed to come to. I said, the police know what we doing around here. Shoot, you act like the feds know. Everybody know. You know, if they want to come and do something, they, they not only wouldn't, but they couldn't, because suppose all the people outside, and then all the cars, the lights flashing, right? They don't want that. That brings attention. Everybody, what's happened with the Muslims?
Yeah.
So number one, you get everybody on your side. They can't do all of that.
Yeah, and it seemed like, I guess, I don't know if the brother was trying to get me to panic or nothing, but I just thought the exact same thing. The last thing the boss man wants is something to do. Why would he send this?
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So, yeah. So this side right here, doing Q&A here. So anyway, so the janazah went well. Does anybody have any comments or anything on the janazah at all? The last one. Right, right. Right. So the crew, that crew, the Negro, that's one thing about it. It was 97% Negroes in the audience. No, they was colored. They were colored. Yeah. Right. Right. Lightweight gangsters and stuff, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then that gives them a chance to realize that this, whatever you're doing, is not permanent. The most permanent state is that state. And that's a destiny. But that's why we told them that that's a destiny, but this body is temporary and you're going to go another. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on it because we don't want to bore everybody. Not bore, but could I just explain something one time? They had something over Dar al-Hijra. Do you remember the time when one of the imams, they had something over at Dar al-Hijra and the imam was telling them, y'all gonna burn in the hellfire. You gonna, I said, oh no, man. You don't accept Islam? Demons with little spikes in them, hot spikes. It sounded like Spectacles of Death. You remember that book? Good God Almighty, Spectacles of Death. That's like Dante's Inferno or something. Spectacles of Death is like Dante's Inferno. So anyway, I said, no, he didn't say that. He didn't do that. He didn't tell the people that. You don't accept Islam? And plus the Quran contradicts it. You know, there's a couple of places that any who believe in, whether Yahud, whether Nasara, whether Sabiqun, any who believe in Allah in the last day and work righteousness will have a reward from their Lord, and no fear will come upon them, nor shall they grieve. This is what the Quran said. That's two ayats that say specifically that. So any who believe in Allah and the last day and work righteous deeds will get their reward from their Lord, and it will be no fear come upon them, nor shall they grieve. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that some of our people are not trained in human communication, how to, or let's don't call it selling, uh, let's call it not running away your prospects, not running people crazy. You know, how you gonna sell them on Islam and telling them if you don't do this, you gonna smoke gonna be coming all out of your ears. I mean, he was laying it on too. This is what I heard. I wasn't there. Did you hear the same? It was unbelievable. I said, I don't believe nobody said that. But then you know people, and so they do things like that. Again, uh, the election story. The election story, well, the other thing I was mentioning about during the janazah was about assignment and judgment, that everybody, Allah sends us here, and Allah has an assignment for us, and Allah sends us the messages and through the angels, and Allah create environmental circumstances, and the people don't have any knowledge of your ability and all of that. But Allah know what He gave you and how you responded. That's why Allah is a judge, Maliki Yawmiddin. And me and you ain't the judge, because we don't know. We looking at a guy and we saying, just like the janazah, we could say, man, the brother in the penitentiary, he got penitentiary Islam, then he was doing this. And we don't know. We can't judge that. We're not qualified. And who would want to judge somebody else anyway? So we talked a little bit about assignment and the judgment of Allah, transition, transformation, and transcendence. And briefly, that the soul is alive. Once we get a soul, after about 4 months and 20 days, once we get it, we got it from then on. You know, that's something that's not going anywhere. Now just think forever and ever and ever. Of course, we can't conceive of that. Also, we want to talk a little bit about what we're calling Brother Tufail Strategic Command Center. Brother Tufail Strategic Command Center. Okay, so now I'm getting back to what we opened with, and I just wanted to mention that since we're all here. Just imagine that every college and university, they have the Martin Luther King Cultural Center, the Malcolm X this center, that, right? Or the George Washington, something or other. Everybody, whoever they look up to. We talked about using Brother Tufail's library, because yesterday Brother Tariq was by and he left something for rent, and I told him, you don't have to pay no. No. And I kept telling him, he said, no. He said, but they're cleaning it out, they're doing this, that, and other. And he said, Brother Rashid was leaving. I don't get into, but he said, anyway, long story. But Brother Tariq handled all of this. I guess mainly him and his wife. And they did a good job. Brother Tariq's wife did a very good job with her, technically, stepfather. She really did a good job. I mean, you couldn't ask for nothing more, you know, from a wife to pay that much attention to your father. So she's got a lot of blessings coming for that, because she really did a good job. As far as the management of everything, Brother Tariq, Brother Tariq, I don't want to, well, okay, we'll talk about it. See, Brother Tariq, something Sister Bahia said yesterday when we was outside talking in front of the house, and she came back. She said, Brother Tariq, you was a pain in the ass, but you really became a great human being. You really became a good man. You just said, alhamdulillah, and I agreed with her. Shoot. Anyway, long story short, and the things that was going on during the janazah and the speeches were very interesting. But definitely, Brother Tariq and his side of the family took care of it. They did all the management and all the organization, you know. And that's at the same time you're trying to find time to grieve too. Now imagine when you're trying to find time to grieve and other people are coming up with the dumbest things that you could imagine. That says a lot. So anyway, what is our position on all this? The Brother Tufail Strategic Command Center means that it's something that every time we're working on the projects that we're working on, we'll have him in the forefront of our thoughts. You know, see, you got to remember, like not only Brother Tufail was here since about 92. When did you come, around 93 or 4 or something like 92? Okay. Look, you were still a fireman then, right? Okay, yeah. Okay. So look, that means that we shared a lot of things. That's why it reminds you that we have to do certain things, because a lot of the things that I talk about, he witnessed those things. And a lot of, this is something that I want to say, and I know y'all will understand it. Some of the things that we said had a lot to do with other people, but they didn't have nothing to do with people that you think that I was talking about. Remember, people are rolling along pretty good. You want to absorb all the heat yourself. So if you might mention, there's a senior snitch here, well, with Brother Mukhtar out there, he was a senior snitch. And when my family and other people was working with him, they would be talking to me, but they would be referring to him. Okay, I might mention certain things that people would misinterpret, and I'm saying it so they would misinterpret it. Yeah. Why? Because if you got all the heat yourself, take all the heat yourself. And let everybody else kind of cruise along. It's not being honorable or anything like that. It's just that if you train for a job, might as well do it, right? No sense complicating everybody else's existence, right? Yeah. Design fitna. Man, there's so much design fitna going on. I had some notes, but I said I ain't gonna go through. Man, design fitna and design living. That means that we write your own story. We've been talking about that a lot of times. All people talk about that a little bit, and the Quran talks about it too. But we didn't know it would be here this quick for us, right? So that means, what is the story we're going to tell about us? That's what our programming is surrounding, like right now. Yeah. And This is our As-Sabiqun phase 3, what we're going through now. But the things that we're doing temporarily, like 4481, like the bookstore, like the other things, like what we'll do with Brother Tufel's house and everything. All right? That's part of our 9/15/2020 project. 9/15 is the Brother Tufel's birthday. Yeah, so we'll have a program every year, not on the birthday, maybe around the birthday. It's not bid'ah, nothing like that. It's fine. Yeah. If people can do things to remind themselves. We know about the dhikr of Allah, the reminder about Allah, but the Prophet ﷺ used to remind people of certain, when someone would say, Ja'far had both of his arms cut off from holding the flag. He was holding the flag, then they cut one arm off, they cut another arm off, you know. And then he tried to hold it with his nubs. They call him Ja'far at-Tayyar, Ja'far the flyer. So the Prophet ﷺ said they got his two arms cut off in this world, but Allah gave him two wings in paradise. So they call him Ja'far at-Tayyar as a flyer. Ja'far at-Tayyar. Okay. So we're not inventing anything. You see what I mean? We're just using those things that Allah give us permission to do. And we don't particularly care whether somebody else like it or not, because it's our hero. The thing I want everybody to know now is heroes don't have to be perfect. Heroes don't have to be perfect. You know, they got heroes, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. Hey man, if you looked at the old newspaper articles from Thomas Jefferson days, and you know what I mean, and they talked about each other like dogs. I mean, good God Almighty, you wouldn't, but you don't hear all that. They got the Jefferson Memorial down there. They don't have all that stuff printed on the memorial. Man, look at this article. They called him a whoremonger or this or that, right? Yeah, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but they don't have it written on his memorial. They got his great contribution. They don't even have the stuff that he left out of the Declaration that we read, left out of the Declaration of Independence. All they have is the stuff they wanted to put there. So, heroes do not have to be perfect or anywhere close to it. They just should have lived an admirable life in certain things. One may just contributed one or two good things to the movement, right? That's good enough, right? They don't have Martin Luther King, J. Edgar Hoover taped him, you know, with certain people. Very few people even know about it. And J. Edgar Hoover called him and told him, well, if you don't commit suicide, I'm going to put this out. Alhamdulillah, he didn't commit suicide. You know, he made him kill him. You know. So, somebody come telling me something about Malcolm. I said, so what? I said, so what? And it was something stupid like, in fact, I tell you who it was. It was the same guy that you see him making these big splash. So he read something in a book about when Malcolm was a teenager, they did this or they did that with the white kids or something. Well, 95% of the people do the same. That's normal. That's what people do growing up. You know, they just do that stuff. That ain't. So what's? Well, to him, he wasn't perfect. You looking for the perfect man, the human being? If you don't like looking at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're gonna be in bad shape. Because the other human beings are a lot like that. I'll speed up a little bit. But the Brother Tufel Strategic Command Center is just that, where the stage that we're going into now is we're going to develop the institutions that it takes to carry us on through this. This is now you got to remember now, this is different than the institution buildings from before. Each time we went through a certain stage, we were in the process of institution building. But that was on the level, right, that was correct for that stage. Okay, now where we are now, we're not starting from scratch. We're not starting from scratch, right? What we're talking about is not a dream, a way off. This is stuff that we're actually dealing with right now. This is things that we're actually dealing with right this minute. So therefore, we can easily visualize the evolution, just remembering that all the way along, if this is phase 3 of As-Sabiqun, this is only stage 1 inside of the third step. This is just phase, we just put, and it's all easy to put together. It's already here. But that world-class movement, world-class institution building, what we're doing right now or what we'll be doing in the next few months, by the time the year's out, we won't even recognize that level in 2-3 years. We won't even recognize it because the necessity to deal with the environmental changes that are going on right now, we got a big job to do. But we're not going to sacrifice quality for rush. Like, for instance, the speed that things are happening right now. We should keep up with that or actually be out in front of it. So far, we're not doing too bad. That we're up with the society and I would say we're out there, we're prepared for anything that comes. But we're not going to sacrifice those things, the type of institutions we would build for, let's call it being in a rush. Nor are we going to fight the last 2 wars, war before last. War before last was visible counterintelligence program in the black movement. That's war, 2 wars back. If you take the party or any of the other black groups, they were not prepared for the onrush. The Black Panther Party started in Oakland. Within a year, it had chapters all over America. Boom! You can't control that. They didn't know who was in there. Half the people that was leading that was the police. The COINTEL program will tell you that almost everybody in the party. That's why people try to say, yeah, I was in the party. to me, they said, well, use the police. To other people, it's a badge of honor. I was in the Black Panther Party. When they said to me, I said, oh, okay, fine. Not that they have to be, but it's just 90% of the people was. Why? Because things that grow that fast, that's an explosion. You can't manage that fast. Okay, this is the crux of the matter. We have to develop a movement from what's needed. College of Islamic Movement Studies. But that has to be accelerated. Strategic management under conditions of oppression. That should be accelerated. But we're not going to sacrifice accelerated teaching and accelerated education because we have to keep up with the speed, what we perceive as the speed of changes inside of the society. Let me go back over that again. The society is changing very fast. Technically, it's not changing. So we have to develop our movement to where it covers that. But we don't sacrifice inequality because we have to teach and train the people. Why? Because nobody is teaching and training them. That's why Black Lives Matter don't count, because it just don't count. And that's the thing that we have to watch. People is, remember I told you the brothers came from Iran a few months ago, and they were trying to get, we were saying what we thought right there. And they wanted it to be, oh, all of those beautiful people, being white people, are out and I see on their faces. I said, I don't see nothing on their face. I said, they're gonna walk around in a circle and they're gonna go back home and there ain't gonna be nothing from that Black Lives Matter movement. And that's what I told, that's what we said here. They ain't going, we already go there. We see that nothing can come out of it. There's nothing can come out of it because ain't nothing going in. And they looking at all of those numbers of people. Well, we have to do what we have to do, but we have to have not some security, but we have to secure our structure enough to where we're not afraid to move forward, right? We're moving forward. But we're not going to relinquish that in our growth, that we're just going to go along with accelerated growth and not be in not control of what we're doing, but there's a part of what we have to do. If you have a business, you have to control it. You have to manage it. Let's use the word management over control. Nobody's even talking about what we're doing. Therefore, we have to manage what we have. We have to manage what we have because boss man is busy. And therefore, we have to move forward while we at the same time are not overcautious. We're going to go forward. We're going forward. That's what we're doing. But we're not going to build, I'll put it this way. In the last stage, we knew what we were doing, strategic management under conditions of repression. Okay. We knew that what they thought of me was, we're going to make him a figurehead. Right? So we're going to fill the masjid in Oakland. We're going to have them running up and down the coast all over the country, and we're going to fill up good God Almighty, the two institutions we had in L.A. And in Irvine and in other places just unlimited people. All of them college educated, right? And all of them doing what they would do if they was doing one thing that we knew that they was doing. They was agitating the Zionists and giving the Zionists reason to say we got to keep an eye on these colleges. And they were given, that's what Irvine was doing. Okay, so we knew what they was dealing with us. So when they woke up to, no, we're not putting up with that. We're not. That's when everybody pulled back. How could all of those people? Whoosh, gone. Everybody gone. You could tell it was so visible that it was ridiculous. But we have to use that for our benefit. And then we kept on using it up until almost today. So we would harass them. When Abdul Malik left 2008, his letter of resignation, we said, well, we had them get all of this property for us and then they're gone. That's not true. Every bit of property, you notice we went to Oakland. When we went to Oakland, we took money from here every time. If we bought the school, if they raised, what we did about Oakland, when they got on our accounts, they could see that we had a certain amount of money. And they asked me if they could use that for the school. I said, absolutely not. So you get your own money. So they had a fundraiser. They raised a nice piece of money. Then the next bit, which was about $51,000, I put that with what they'd already raised to buy the school out there. You see what I mean? The other stuff, all that big piece of property, which was across the street, that was the same thing. When we have the fundraiser, we would take a cashier's check, say $35,000, and then we'd take something else out there. You know what I mean? And then we'd pay the taxes, right? And they let that building sit there for over 10 years with hardly not even opening the doors. Can you imagine how rotten things got in 10 years if you don't? Unbelievable. They used the yard as a junkyard. All the brothers that drove cabs, they would just drive them into that big yard, 8,000 square feet, and boop, that ain't be. And the city would write us a thing. Anyway, the way we put it with them was, hey, we used y'all by getting y'all to run around and make us famous and raise our, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. But if you notice, that's why, what's the name, sold the property, and Brother Mukhtar, he said about Abdul Malik, he said Abdul Malik was a punk. He quit too soon. And maybe they think I'm stupid and I don't know what they're talking about. But that's why we just wear them down. They're not wearing us down, we're wearing them down. They've been trying to get this thing over with for years. Can you imagine? This is the 7th or 8th year of this. So how many people can stand that long for one little thing that's going on? And kept bringing them back. They got to run off and come on back. Pretty soon, look at the people you're dealing with. The grand jury effect, we done told this story over and over again. So everybody know it, right? What's happening to them? They thought they just gonna walk in and with a camera and say, Imam Musa, you are this or you are that. They was thinking maybe I was one of our other imams, that I would get mad. And this nigga was a gangster before, and you keep scratching him, he's gonna go back to that. We told everybody, stand down, stand back, all right? And we tell them the same thing. That's why we postponed any program the other week, just to give you an example. When they shot the last group of people last week, brother was shot that had a little psycho problem in Philadelphia, and the other one shot in it. There's so many people. So we come up with an idea about how to deal with all of those things. That idea was contrary to nonviolent resistance and alternative resistance. So we had to wait. That means you're exercising self-control. You have to wait. And we wait on ourselves. We delay ourselves. And it's not new. We've been doing that so long. So the thing is, we understood what we've been doing and the cycles that we've been in for a long time, almost since day one. But we really started making headway, say around 86. Around 86. And by the time we came here 3 years later, we came here for a reason. We said we came here to call it, get the game, you know, the final lessons on the Islamic movement in America. And we got it. We got it. Boss Man did almost, Boss Man had a field day. But we're still here. And everything that has happened to us is to put us in the process of evolution, not revolution. Evolution, that we evolve step by step, stage by stage. That's what the Brother Tufel Command Center is. It's about our assignment during this period is the same as our assignment in 2007, 8, and 9, except it's on a different level. Institution building. Because organization, institution, and all of those things are things that society and structure is made out of. That's what we used to refer to the organization. That as long as one of us was alive, maybe the other brothers didn't feel like that, but as long as one of the top leadership was alive, we could reproduce that organization. Yeah, and as you grow and develop, that ability comes along with it. I know when I first used to travel, I was kind of young, but I had a few pictures with me. And when I was anywhere, I would show the people some of the pictures that this what you looking at is not me. This is me right here with the big pretty cars, because they see you black and they see, you know what I mean, that and I would dress like a common person. So I said, this is me. And I'd show them the pictures with all them furry details. I'm somebody. I'm Big Hank. You know what I mean? Because remember now, this is years ago. Ain't nobody think a Negro is nothing, basically. You know, and they see you. What you see is what you get, and they think that's where you at. And it took me a few years to evolve out of that. When I started really evolving in the business, I settled down because the business, I didn't care what people thought. In fact, I reverted because all the white folks, them white folks down there, they had their picture of, did I ever tell you about the white boy that, in our organization, I was the leader, technically. And others were Jews and others from Canada. Of course, they was the police. But I knew they was the police. So it's no problem. You know, anytime a Negro, I'm walking down the street and a Negro pop up next to me from Philadelphia somewhere saying, yeah, I could do this and I could do that. And they take, and I have friends that they're such and such, they own a nightclub and they do this. They white boys from Canada. So I said, sure. So even in those days, I'd play along with the program. But everybody thought the white boys was running things. We was going through the little process, and the white boy, the other, not white people, but the other Colombians will say, what's happening with the Nietzsche? Talking about me. So the white boy would be looking at the thing. He said, cuidado, él es muy inteligente. Be careful, this guy is very intelligent. You know, of course, they didn't think I spoke Spanish. Still don't, you know, but I knew what he was saying. Be careful, cuidado, this guy here is muy inteligente. So, one day or one night, we at the spot, and they used all their connections for fun and parties and what have you. And I had all the connections up in the U.S. I said, okay, the party is over. We're going to use this for something real. And that's when it started. And it went through its changes. But guess what? When anybody would come to the house, I would be standing there. I may snatch me a broom, have a pair of overalls on, the real overalls, the kind that you used to wear back in the country. Yeah, I'd have them. Of course, I'd have some snake skins or alligators to go with them, and a mink hat. It is just ridiculous what the nigger would look like down there. But anyway, everybody would feel comfortable. A white boy told me from Florida, had white shoes on, like he was in a movie or something. Well, you know, every time I mess with spades, I get burnt. Spades, me and you. Now, I was looking out for him. I made sure that the white boys couldn't burn nobody. Because if they got hold to anything, they was gonna, whatever type of agents they was gonna fluff it up and get a little extra out of it for themselves and get arrested, a white man, you know. So they was those kind of agents. So they was always up to something. So I didn't play none of that. I didn't play it here and I didn't play it there. So I was looking out for the white boy. He didn't know it. He didn't know that I'm taking care of this. You can run it through them. And I couldn't tell him, them guys there, they'll cut your throat every time they get a chance. But he was saying, you know, the spades. And it's true, every time you mess with Negroes in those days or any other time, you know, they're gonna, a white boy, they're gonna burn you. But not us. The point of it is that we evolved over a period of time to where self-image, self-esteem grew out of what we were doing then, not what we did in the past. Does that make any sense? What we did in the past was a big Negro stuff inside the United States and all of that. It was big. And we took pictures so that we could say, this is me here, right here. This ain't me. This is me, big Negro. And after you get into business, it's self-explanatory. In fact, you don't want to show off who you are. You want to be under. You know what I mean? Anyway, all of that we have to incorporate into what we're doing now. We incorporated it every level of information and knowledge that we went through, we incorporated during our evolution. So, reintroduce the process of institution building. That's what we're doing now. Evolve with or ahead of the movement or society. Evolve with or ahead of society. That means the rate of speed, the rate of change. Don't fight the last war. Build on it. Most people do fight. All of our people, they did. They got burned in the Black Rebellion, and they just never got over it. You could see it in all of their behavior and their attitude. Experiment with conversion of functionaries combined with institution building. Experiment. This stage that we're going through now, we have to use all the building blocks of the past, but Star Trek means you're going somewhere where you ain't never been before. All of the things that we have to do out there, we're going to change them. Not change them, but example, Mukhtar would reply to something I wrote in 2010, that during this next phase, we're going to have everybody keep an eye on each other. Do y'all remember we read something like that? Okay, well, let me go in that each member of the movement, the organization, will have to keep an eye on each other. The leaders, on each other. So Mukhtar came up with his little dumb idea. But I said, we don't use that, we didn't use that, and we didn't intend to use it. Why? We're not going to fight the last wars. We're going to fight a new war. And in a new war, you have to have confidence in humanity. That's what you want to have. So if you were building a house, you should build some of the things in it that you want, right? So a lot of these motivational stuff, whatever you do, you're going to be by yourself. You're going to be all alone. No, that's right, that's what it says. There's good people out there. If you feel that way, you'll never find them, because you're not looking for them. You're looking for everybody to cut your throat. And then you will build a lonely institution. You won't even look for. There's thousands, there's millions of good people out there. Right? You're not the only good person in creation. They're everywhere. You just have to have the attitude where you attract good people. See, when you got a certain character and a certain makeup, you attract people. Pay attention. You know what I mean? People are paying attention. If they see a good company, right, they say, hey man, y'all be doing pretty good. Looks like, and then they want to have some association, or maybe even help. You know what I mean? Or even mentor. Yeah. People look at something, this guy's really making one or something. Yeah, I've been there before. I can help you a little bit on that. It happens all the time. Nobody is self-created, the nigga just made itself. That's not true. So, there's good people out there. And the necessity for the next stage is finding as many of those good people as we can including governmental agents. Yeah. They're a little slow, but you remember they went to school a long time. The boy you, I don't know what they do in there, but anyway, there are good people in the FBI itself. I don't know why they came by here, but they came by Armstrong, whatever his name was. And the message that they was putting out was, well, you know, we're under a different dispensation now. So therefore, in other words, this guy that they got now, maybe they don't understand the whole picture. Maybe they don't understand the Zionist picture. You can't assume that everybody see the world like we do. They may see it one step above being an FBI agent. That they may see it on a whistleblower level, right? And stuff like that. So those whistleblower types have to form an association. Yeah, so they could find other companies. When I blow the whistle, I can get a job with Mr. Jones, right? It makes them more willing to blow the whistle, right? Or if I do this, that, and other, I can get a job with certain investigative services. If I worked in the computer field in the FBI, right, I can get a job with Lonesome Johnny's Neo computer company that spies on everybody, but it's legal. So, you know, they have to do stuff too. We cannot assume that there's not some of that going on. We should assume that since they haven't hit the pavement running, that there's a certain amount of fear. You got to remember, it was a book years ago called True Believer. It wasn't about Islam. True Believer was about people that belonged to certain organizations. Example, communist, communists, socialists, and those people would try to convert people who was really serious about their belief. So if they came with them, they would be the same serious, right? If they converted. The other thing was example. You know how strong 5 out of 6 Germans that was killed on the Eastern Front was by Russians. But when those Russians faced themselves, their own communist leaders, and they would be crying and they would be just all out of sorts. Because to face an enemy is one thing, but to face your own internal, everything that you've been about and all about, right, that's different. So you put that on them. Those people are not used to coming out against the system. The few whistleblowers that we have that turned on Don was good. That was good. Okay. Don did a good job for messing up America. The whole world is praying that Don lose. The Germans, the French, everybody. There's nobody pulling for Don. Nobody. You can see it at the first G20 meeting. Remember when he walked on the stage and he pushed all the other big timers aside and stood there like, yeah, now take my picture. Now all these other guys, they big. This is the German guy, this is the French guy. All of them people, they got big and they with who they with, and they had to be strict to get that. Didn't nobody come and say, oh, you want to be leader of France? Oh, you want to be dictator of such and such? Right? They got to have game. Every one of them got to have game. And they looking at Don, what's wrong with this boy? Okay. So he was messing with people who he didn't understand. He think if you don't stand up and say, stop that, Don, then you scared of me. It had nothing to do with it. Said, this bum, just leave him alone. He gonna run his own self in the ditch, right? That's what they saying. You leave him alone. They didn't seen that before. Right? They didn't seen that before. This boy, he ain't gonna be around long. And it's true. Okay, let me move on a little bit. I would like to say is this experiment with conversion of functionaries combined with institution. That means we have to experiment and go in places where you've never been before. You're an adventurer. You out. The stuff that works now or have worked, it may not work on this stuff. We have to be inventive. You know, we have to take chances. We have to take risks. You know, and all in business, the bigger risk you take, the better chance you got. Now, what we're doing, if you can't take no risk, we have to be in another business. Election theater. The election theater, I just mentioned it briefly. We see this election theater. Cliffhangers, nail biters. We can see how it was managed. Don, you got to know it's somebody holding them up. I can kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't nothing happen. The only people can guarantee that is a Zionist. And nobody would say that except he's stupid to say that. Everything, they knew who they was picking. They knew a megalomaniac. We got a Muslim like that with a big head. I ain't gonna say. Anyway, here's a long story. So they knew who they was choosing. All the characteristics, all the habits, all the customs, all the behavior patterns, they knew what he had. And they took his daughter and married her off to Kushner. That's why you have a 35-year-old going all over the world doing stuff. He don't know nothing about nothing. He don't have to know nothing. The Zionists are telling him. Mossad is telling him. See, now, before I close, I want to mention who we're dealing with. We're dealing with the most sophisticated, rottenest, low-down system in the world. It's not the United States, it's Mossad. It's the Zionists. The Zionists don't care about real Jews, they don't care about nobody. In fact, the Zionists came to power by killing Jews in Iraq and everywhere else. So they'd have to come to Israel. And half the Jews know it, right? They started problems for the Jews. You know, the rabbis, you talk with them, they say, yeah, we know. He said when we was in Iraq, talking about the Jews, the real curly lock wearing Jews, he said the people would come out and kiss some of our clothing, the Muslims. That's how nice they was. It was all nice, you know. And the Christians, nobody never did nothing to the Christians. Talking about Syria, parts of Iraq, the Christians had it going on, right? If you're talking about Jews and the Christians, Jews being oppressed in Iran, it is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Why? They've been there since 589 BC. If they ain't figured out a way to leave, right? Daniel in the lion's den, where's it at? It's in Persia. Min Tickle Parasan, the writing on the wall, that's in Babylon and Persia, right? If they hadn't figured out a way they got to leave, if they before then they should be given, a slow pill. They would be slow, right? They would be almost idiots. So we have to take all the accumulated knowledge and history and associate it in something that's functional for nowadays that will carry us to the next spot. When you do that, you're a trailblazer. That's what it is, blazing a new trail. Nobody's been there before. We don't have nobody we can look and say, they went to the right place, we got to get behind them. I'm sorry. There's nobody like that here. There's no movement, there's no organization. Ain't nobody, right? So we are the ones. That's not from arrogance, but nobody has the backbone, the courage, and nothing to deal with these systems as they are. And we're still here. Why? Other people are afraid of the Zionists. We play with the Zionists. Islamic Institute for Counter-Zionist American Psychological Warfare. We ain't scared of you, right? And that throws them off. It's not that they can't do anything about it, but if you have decades of writing and all of these flyers and all of this and all of those things there, if they kill you, people are going to go and start looking at them. Why they do that to that boy? What did he do? Supposing 10,000 people start going over this and they share them with other people, and they say, man, that's why they killed that brother, right? And that's the thing about martyrdom. When they always say, or the dictators say, we don't want to kill so-and-so, we'll make a martyr out of it. That's what they mean. That's what they mean. We're using everything at our disposal. And so far, it's working, and it's fine. And so far, it's good, too. You know, if you think it ain't fun being 75, you got another thing coming. Especially when the life expectancy is 25 or 30. If, you know, all your friends, if the games you was involved in, the life expectancy is 30 is a senior citizen almost. 35, look at all the kids out there that got killed on the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Hey man, what was their average age? What was their average age? They're in the early 20s. All of them in their early 20s. Anyway, it's getting a little late. Tomorrow we'll bring this to another level at Salatul Juma. Salatul Juma will continue to be more religious orientated, and on Sunday, not September, November, November the 8th, we hope to have a nice picture, kind of organize what we want to do now, what project management means, what job description means, what all of that means to us right now. And we want to thank everybody for their participation. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it ain't no big deal, but it is a big deal when, when all this stuff starts. All you have to do is be consistent. You put a little piece together today, a little piece tomorrow. You look around in a year, and you didn't put a whole package together just by cruising. So, are there any questions or comments? Mm, well, to tell you the truth, you see this? This is for a certain reason. You remember the other day that I had the crutch and I was walking down the thing, and then I went down and did something. I came back turning flips almost. Okay. When I got up this morning, I came down and you could probably smell the chicken. And I was just standing there, I put the chicken in. In fact, anybody want to test it, this one on top of the stove. So anyway, I left it in about 4 hours. But as I was putting the chicken in, all of a sudden I got a back pain that reminds me of when I said I was running out in California, and I said I've never hurt like that in my life. This back pain. And it's internal. It ain't something that happened, you know what I mean? And you just have a back pain. That's boss man. When boss man, he want to slow you down. If you're on the right road, he want to slow you down, and he'll make you mad. Boss man, when this stuff happens, that means that boss man, when he lets you know, I can touch you internally. This ain't nothing come from outside. It ain't nothing you drink. That all of a sudden, bam, you're hurting, and you're hurting bad. You're hurting so bad, but it helps you. So the first thing I did, I just limbered on out to the little workout room, and I did what I could. Then I warmed up, and I stretched enough to get a good workout in on the iron. And I was going to go and get a walk in. Because what it do is it help you say, I don't care, boss, it make you mad. Boss man, you got my back hurting, and I don't like that. I'm mad now. So whatever I was going to do, I'm definitely going to do that. That's like when I was running up in the hills, and I was hurting so bad. I never hurt like that in my life. But the minute boss man saw I was coming back to the hills, boop, everything went away. No, that stuff happened all the time. That means, remember, you have to study yourself in the environment. Is this stuff happening coming from, some of the stuff come from the outside. People, something, the food you eat, or something you consume. Or you can smell something. If you don't like certain smells, boss man will spray around where you at, and it hurt your nose, and it'll make you, feel bad. He do that. It'll go away in a few days. Or if you're reading a certain book, I'm telling you, boss man is mean. If you're reading a certain book, like Maulana Muhammad Ali, that translation, boss man will let you lead, and he'll spray something in there, and every time you open that book, get a whiff of it, it'll give you a headache. Boss man is mean. Boss man is dirty. Look here. Boss man, when you see boss man on the movies, and he got all these little tricks that he do to people, well, until you mess with him, you'll never know they're real. But I know this right here is internal. That means that boss man either, when I had the operation up in, either the operation this last time, the brain, or the operation in Philadelphia, right? When they stuck the thing in and they said, you're gonna cough when you, I said, cough. Before I could say anything, I had coughed. I said, usually when you attach something. So boss man and the Russians got it way worse than the Russians had. The Russians, I mean, just, you could imagine some little thing, and this is old technology, not the newest stuff. They can put something in you and they can regulate your body from inside of you. Yes, they can. They can do that. I don't say they can. They do that. It ain't nothing that I did to where I gotta be walking around with this thing. But I will. I'm going right out, walk in the woods, lift a little iron and hit the bag. And I'm gonna keep doing it till I get better. And everything that I write down, I'm going to do it. Just because boss man is just a mean guy. Yeah. Because he's doing that to try to divert you or make you go, oh, go lay down. I feel so tired. And then people around you say, maybe it's because you're old. I said, hell, I study myself and everything in my environment. I said, I'm going to miss a few things because I've never gotten old before. But I know things that swoop up out of nowhere and then go away. It's a pattern that's been happening for a long time. Things swoop up from nowhere, right? And then they're gone. They're gone the next day. Or they go on that afternoon. They're gone. Well, wait a minute, hold it. You don't get cured that fast. Remember when I got the thing, the brain, I'm telling you, I was, my hand was like this, right? I mean, and I was trying to squeeze a ball and to read rat, cat, dog, and all that stuff, or hat, you know, to get my memory back. And I just started reading my own notebooks. And I couldn't write, so I had to start practicing with my left hand. I got a call from Iran. Are you, first of all, how long you think it's going to take you to get better? I said, 3 months, 6 months, or a year. How's your writing? That's what they're asking me from. Because I'd write first letter and then zzz. That was from before, when it was coming on. Because I'm telling the Iranian. The next day, got the cure come in, and I was given khutbah within 2 days. I remembered all of my farida and everything. I thought I was going to have to study from the beginning and learn everything that I knew all over again. But I was ready to do it. Shoot, I woke up the next morning, flipping stuff up in the air and catching it. I'm just telling you, that's not possible. It's not likely. It's only if somebody can manage and control your whole body. And you have to have a certain attitude to know that too. Yeah, you have the attitude that, my attitude is simple, I can tell you. Well, boss man, now we're going to really play some mental game. Because I got to think stuff that's not real, and he going to pick up on what I'm thinking and act off that. We don't play games. We ain't nobody scared of boss man. Oh, no, he ain't going to win this one. He had to pick on another nigga. He should have picked on somebody else. No, it's going to be double psych where the white man can tell right now. You know, they got a thing. If you think of red, it touches something up there, right? That's right. So he done mapped it out. So he done mapped it out. I have to do strategic management under conditions of repression in another way. Psychological guerrilla warfare for real. And do you know what? It works. Make boss man, if you ain't never had no fun, this is fun. Long as you ain't scared of nobody, long as you ain't scared of, and people get paranoid if they, even if you read their notes, they get mad, right? So I'm telling you, boss man is finished. He should have picked on somebody else, should have did something else. He's a goner, but he ain't gonna voluntarily go. We have to incorporate what we're doing with those people who are willing to travel along with us. And the last thing I'm gonna say is America the good, not America the great. And nobody ever even mentioned that. But let's try to visualize it. America the good. Boy, that's going to be a surprise. That's what we're going to be involved in. America the good. So I hope I answered your question. But yeah, boss man, they give you the itch. He'll give you all kind of stuff. Yeah. You just have to sit there. You have to sit there. When I was training for that, when I was in Iran, Muhammad Al-Asi was here, Sister Marzi was there, and we was at the University of Tehran. Boy, boss man had my feet itching so bad, but I had to just sit right there, just like this, and answer the questions. And I ain't no hurry to go scratch. I ain't no hurry to do nothing. Yeah, you have to do that. That's training. Boss man ain't gonna, hey, forget about boss man. Let's just become good people and not be scared of nobody, not be scared of losing nothing, and Allah gonna help us. I'm telling you, Allah will help you with anything. And remember, we think Allah is on our side. So what can they do? They in trouble. Are there any more questions or comments?
No, that's, well, I mean, a couple of the brothers did salams. Khadijah's doing her thing on YouTube and the chat. That's really it.
Well, don't worry. Every 6 weeks or so, we'll answer Miss Khadijah. So just keep them on there, whatever they say. But we're not going to change anything. Thank Allah for them. You got to thank Allah for them. You can't sit around, I wish they'd leave me alone. I don't wish they'd leave me alone. Keep it on up. I tell you, I don't have my phone with me, but they can call me anytime. And they do a lot. They call, I can answer it or I cannot answer it. Sometimes I answer it, I hold the phone way away, and I answer the phone, and then sometimes it's no caller ID, sometimes it's the actual number. It does make a difference. But whatever happens, if you have the attitude that you're going to change everything from a negative to a positive, everything from a challenge to a benefit, you can't lose. You can't lose because then can't nobody do nothing to you. Okay. Then aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum.